What's happening, Hoodlum gang? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Hoodie from the Hood, aka your friend from that big O end, aka your neighborhood Hoodlum. And we back at y'all with another dope conversation, man. And for some of y'all who ain't from California, or you might even be from California, you might be from Southern California, you might not be as familiar with the Northern California rap scene or gang scene or whatever the case it is. But if you had your ears to the streets over the past, what, 20 years, 20 plus years?
Yeah, at least 20.
At least 20, then you should know this individual coming up out of Sacramento, California. Let the people know who you are, man.
Smigg Dirtee, Big Dirty, Smigg Dirtee boy. And I'm from Sac, but I've been back and forth Dago my whole life, so Dago was home to me too. Same old shit. It's the same shit going on here, same shit going on out there.
That part. And every now and then individuals come on the channel, and I always gotta ask them, how did you get the name Smigg Dirtee?
See, that's a funny story. I mean, I kind of came up with. My hood name basically is Baby Smurf. Big Smurf was my homie. I always wanted to be like her, like that was like, who I looked up to. Even though, all my I got close families from the hood, but he was close friends, with my big cousin, Big Devious. And he was just a nigga that I just, was we just got along, and, he always checked up on me, since I was a little nigga, so I kind of just always called myself, like a Smurf, even before he, really stamped me and all that.
Right.
So then when I started rapping, I didn't want to go by, a gang name or something like that.
You try to switch it up?
Yeah, so I tried to switch up, and I was rapping young, like 6, 7, shit like that. So like I come from the era when niggas was saying like biggity back, biggity, siggity, so smiggity, shit like that. So
you can't,
Smigg,
you came from that
yeah,
smiggity iggity era.
That
was like that,
shit.
that Spice One, Das
Spice
Effect,
One, exactly. Spice One was that nigga back then.
Facts.
He was that nigga, and so yeah, Spiggity One, like
Spiggity One,
yep. So like it just kind of shortened to Smigg, and then I just wanted to add something to it, and I don't even know how dirty it. Like I ain't gonna lie, it might have been around the time, cause I had another name first. It might have been around the time like Slim Shady was out or something. So like the way that just kind of rung, Slim Shady, the way the 2 words rung, I just wanted something, a 2-word like that, Smigg something or Smigg, and it just became Dirty, and Dirty Boy, and that just kind of it just kind of fit my whole shit. And
pretty much you was just being creative.
Just rocked it, yeah.
Right.
We just went along with it.
Right. So let's take them back to the beginning, man. What year was you born, and where was you born at?
Shit, I'm an old nigga, so I used to be lying about my age, but I'm gonna keep
Hey, you ain't even gotta say the year if you don't want to. You could just say.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it all. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. I was born in 81, but if you Google me, it's gonna say 84. Everything that you see, anything documented online is gonna say 84.
Right,
but,
right. Hey, at least he kept it clean with y'all, Hoodlum gang.
But I'm gonna keep it real because now that I'm old, like I'm proud to be old, like
right.
and just the shit that I've been through, and and knowing that I don't even look that old, and like
yeah, definitely.
I should be, I'm taking, I'm taking it,
right.
taking it in.
Right.
But I was born in Dago actually. I was born in San Diego. My real pops, he's basically from San Diego. He really from Gary, Indiana, and Chicago. That's where my family is from. But he came out here. It might have been like some military shit or something. And then my mom was out here. And then I was born, but I don't remember San Diego from then. I moved to the Bay when I was 2, at the actual Bay. Like, I was actually living in Fremont. It's like right outside of Oakland, right outside of San Leandro, Union City, all that shit. kind of like, cause Spice One, I think he's from
He's from
Union
Hayward.
City or Hayward or something like that. Yeah,
It's like right there.
right around. It's like
Yeah.
all in that little area.
Right.
It's all East Bay, but I lived there for like kindergarten, and then I moved to SAC. Like, and then that's where everything changed. You know, that's what changed my whole life.
So when you moved to SAC, where did you move to specifically?
I moved literally on 21st Street, this hood I'm from. I moved literally on the corner of 21st Street and what is that? Bernard, 21st Street, Bernard, right at the end, right by Florin Road is like the main thing, you know. And I moved there. Not, you know, we didn't know where it was, you know, we didn't know who it was, but you know, my bus stop was right on the street corner that I really banged, 21st and 60th. Like, that's where I took the bus to go to first grade, second grade, Pony Express type shit. That's where, you know, so I was dove straight in, you know, as soon as I got there.
So when you got there in kindergarten, this about 86?
Actually, it was the first grade. It was right after kindergarten.
86, 87?
Something like that, yeah.
Garden Blocc is in full swing by this time.
Yeah.
What do you know as far as the history of Garden Blocc? Do you know the founders? Do you know how it came about?
Yeah, it's you know, Cepeda was a big part of 29th Street. It started 29th Street and 21st Street were the first two. 21st Street didn't come along till 89, 90, like, you know, so I was there pre 21st Street actually being when I moved out there when I was like young, we were claiming like we could get to the click shit.
Right,
know?
right,
like
right.
60th Ave was like the click 60 posse. Like that's what we was like claiming. Like, you know, that was our shit. Like,
and for the people who don't know, y'all got the streets and then y'all got avenues that cross it.
Yeah,
like how New York is.
Exactly, yeah. Because we got Florin Road. That's the main street that, you know, the big street that goes all through the hood. And then, you know, you got 21st and, you know, 20, all that shit, a couple other random streets in between. Mm-hmm. And then on the other sides, you got the avenues, it's, you know, 60th, 62nd, 68th, 65th, all that, you know, go all the way up,
right.
You know, to 6-9, to where that's Meadowview Hood, like, you know, like, because, you know, they
right next to y'all.
We damn near, so they gardens too, you know, they claim it's garden, that's all gardens, so it's just not Garden Blocc, you know, that's the difference.
Now was it called Meadowview Gardens?
Yeah, they still say Meadowview Gardens, but you know, it's Meadowview Blood is the actual name, but you know that the neighborhood, you know, they'll still say gardens. But
now was Garden Blocc there before Meadowview, as far as like
the Garden Blocc Crip started first, because at first all Meadowview was Garden Blocc Crip neighborhood, you know, like even like they like most like notorious known like the apartment complex called the Rock, you know, back then that was part of before my time and shit, you know, like that was part of our shit. Now in the 80s and shit, like by the time I was there, that was all you know, the Rock was like something you knew, like if you was a Crip or, you know, you knew like the Rock,
don't
you know,
go over
you ain't going over there,
right.
Like, but you know, so yeah, that shit happened later, but you know, it was like Cepeda, G-Man, B-Dub from 24th Street. I mean, I don't know everybody that started, but I know, you know, they were part of Dooney. I know they were all part of the beginnings of it.
The formation.
And like you said, we had ties to Nutty Blocc. That's where the block came from. Because they wanted us to be Nutty Blocc. You know, they came out and was trying to get us to be Nutty Blocc. But we already had a little movement called Guerrilla Gardens, you know. So we kind of wanted to keep our own identity, you know, because I was watching your video, the differences, you know, how we don't have like LA hoods. Like they was trying to, you know,
Right. They was up there as far as
they was up there.
yeah.
They developed, you know, our hoods basically, you know.
Y'all just took on your own
Yeah,
name.
we just took on
Right.
our own names, and I believe we're the only ones that even actually took on something, a part of a name from, you know, L.A. or Compton.
I mean,
hood.
technically, you could say that about us. Our founder was from Harlem 30s. We didn't end up being Harlem 40s. We ended up being neighborhood 40s.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a correlation right there. But, so what other gangs is in the South Sac area that, like, can you give me a roll call? What was around?
Like back in the day, like, you know, Sac is a blood city. I don't know, a lot of people, I mean, maybe now since the Mozzie era,
Right.
people start seeing all the blood shit, but, you know, we passed the 2 minutes, I don't know.
We been past. We had 10 minutes. You good.
But, you know, from, you know, the era, you know, that era that Brother Lynch, Sebo, you know, that era, you know, the era everybody thought, you know, it was Sacramento was Crip City.
Because they was
you
the
know?
most dominant.
Yeah, but
as far as the
it's-
rap scene.
Yeah, but it's always been a blood city. South Sac, in the early days, like some of the Crip hoods, like shit, I don't want to leave nobody out. Like you had 6'8" Dogs. Damn, you had
Is that the same as Flat Dog?
Flat Dog. No, that's something different. But that's you know about, yeah. See,
I didn't did my homework
yeah,
on Sac,
see,
man.
a lot of people don't know about, you know, the flats and shit like that. But you know, but basically, like the big major hoods in South Sac, you got Garden Block, the other like Crip hood, Valley High Crip, and then, you know, we got Freeport Crips, you know, but some start like kind of like slowing down, or, you know, don't have as many young homies, so, you know, they didn't start like, you know, still expanding, so it's still like older niggas claiming it. But
Real fast, have you ever heard of something called Cooney?
yeah.
What's Cooney?
Cooney was like a hood in Sac, yeah, like
It's by y'all?
yeah. Well, it's like in the South. It ain't hella close to us, but, you know, it's like in our area, more in our area than like somewhere else.
Was it
But, like,
Crips and Bloods?
From what I know, Cooney was Crips. Cooney was Crips. I don't know what they changed. I know they kind of had like their own little thing going though. You know, like Creek Mob is another.
I was gonna get
hood
to Creek Mob next.
in the South that they black rags. You know, they're not Crips or Bloods, but, you know, they've been around from like day one too. Like they one of the main hoods in the South. What else you got? You got Meadowview. You got also you got Valley High Pyro, which, I mean, I don't wanna. We got Valley High Pyro, and then
What's that dude name that be rapping from there? I forgot his name. He rap with CML. Damn, I forgot his name right now.
from Valley High, Thola.
Thola.
Yeah. He from Valley High, and like I grew up a lot in Valley High. I went to middle school in Valley High. I went to Valley High High School. I moved to Valley High like in like the 6th grade, so I lived there from like 6th to 8th grade. Then I moved back to the hood in 9th grade, but I still was going to Valley High. I was taking the bus to Valley High.
And was you already banging at that time?
Yeah.
So what was that like going to Valley High? Was they tripping?
I mean, Valley High, it was weird. Like, we used to have like these little baby gang riots here and there, you know, but you know, we go to school together, we see each other all the time. Sometimes it's funky, sometimes it's not, you know, it wasn't no big deal. And then, like, I was always kind of like popular because I was always rapping. I was always a nigga that was known that was rapping, and I was always a nigga that was known that was like putting on for my hood since like a little nigga. Like, I was claiming the hood like way before I should have been claiming the hood. Like, you know, like since a little nigga, really, like, you know, really really pressing like I'm somebody or something, you know, like I wouldn't get my little ass beat up, like, you know, but I was really thinking, you know,
Right.
like, but because this is just what I was knowing,
Right.
this is just what, like, all my family's from the hood, you know, like, even I got cousins from Hunters Point, you know, that didn't move down with us,
And Hunters Point's in Frisco.
yeah, Frisco, and you know they don't do Crips and Bloods
Right.
out there, you know, they end up coming out here, they end up getting turned out, getting put on the hood, you know. My stepdad, I call him my dad though, because he raised me pretty much most of my life, but still shout out to my real pops, because we have a good relationship right now. I ain't gonna try to like act like, you know, my real pops ain't, you know, somebody, but my stepdad was there in my early days, and you know, my big homies looked up to my stepdad type shit. He from Oakland, and you know, his cousin, you know, moved in with us and shit, and he started, you know, he ended up being from the hood, like, you know, so it was like everybody around me was from the hood. Everywhere, my house, I shared a room with 3 niggas from my hood, 3 Crips, like, you know, so this is all I know. That's older than me, you know, so it's all I knew type shit.
All right, so you don't really gotta speak on the list, but you seen I came out with a list of top 5 most talented hoods. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Now I had Garden Block at number 2. Now, honestly, Garden Block could have probably been number 1 had they came up in this social media era.
Yeah,
that's how lit y'all was.
Yeah, for real.
Now, obviously with Sebo and Rated, Lynch,
Nutty.
Later on Nutty, Looney Coleon, even Mr. Doc, that one album.
I know.
That one album.
That, but
Yeah. My point is, who influenced you to start rapping? Because you had so many influences in your area.
That's kind of what I was really influenced, because I was listening to rap real early, like I said, when I was really little in Fremont. I was going to a daycare in Oakland that was in the mall, in Eastmont Mall. I don't even know if niggas remember that they had a little daycare inside there. This is early 80s. But they had a record store, like, right when you walking out. And I would always go in there. Like, I would always want my mom to take me in there, you know, and that'd be Fat Boys playing and all kind of shit. Like, you know, I remember I bought the Beastie Boys tape there, like, you know, so I was influenced by early hip hop, like New York shit, when New York shit was the only shit, and even Too Short, like, you know, like that was kind of like what we had. Too Short, NWA, Eazy-E. I remember when Compton Most Wanted first came out back at Tower Records on Florence Road, they used to keep the rap tapes behind the counter because, you know, niggas be stealing it. So
niggas be stealing.
So
this interview gonna be called Niggas Be Stealing.
Niggas be stealing. So we had to look, and like, you know, and we couldn't even see. So like, I used to like just kind of look at names, like, let me see that, you know, and then, you know, that's how I discovered Compton's Most Wanted. Like, I remember, like, and then they had the blue tape. I'm like, okay, you know. So like, I was influenced already by rapping and just by hip hop, period. And then when I started seeing people actually from where I'm from actually getting fame off this, I'm like, this is possible. And then, you know, this must be something I could do. Now, you know,
who was the first rapper that you heard out of all the people I named? Who was the first one you heard from your area that was rapping to where you was like, I want to rap?
From my area, besides my big cousin and they group, because they didn't really get too far, Southside Suspects, but I gotta shout them out because they was like hood, Southside, like known legend rap niggas, like, you know, but they didn't get to putting out music type shit. So, but like, I would say Lynch and Bo, like, kind of around the same time. I can't even remember who I heard first. I think I heard Lynch first. I want to say I did hear Lynch first. I remember Bo's mom. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, it's his mom's. She on Margot's like a hair spot. You know, you get your hair cut. They did hair and shit there.
I heard him say that, and I want to say the whatever interview he did
Okay.
when he was talking about the situation with Mozzie, and he said Mozzie used to go there
Go to
when
Margot's,
he was a
get
kid
it.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
because I used to go there and get my hair cut, and they had like T-shirts of like the Click E40 on the wall where they signed and shit, all kind of shit, and then they were selling SIBO tapes there. Like that was like the only place, and they had like SIBO, and like I didn't know who SIBO was at the time. Like, you know, I was still hella young, and I'm like, oh, SIBO, you know, I knew E40 is, you know, I kind of just being up on E40
Right.
and all them, like I'm knowing who that is. And I remember getting the tape from there and like, ooh, like this is heat, like, you know. So
And
like,
was that Gas Chamber?
yeah, Gas Chamber,
Classic.
super classic.
Right.
Gas Chamber and 24 Deep. So like, I want to say 24 Deep was probably like the first shit. And honestly, probably Gas Chamber is probably what made me think I can do it. Seeing SIBO at the shop,
Right.
and seeing the tapes in there, you know, type shit. Because I never seen Lynch in them days. Like I didn't usually see Lynch.
Lynch
outside
was like a
or
myth,
nowhere.
huh?
Yeah, it was like a myth. It was like you knew who he was, and you knew people who knew him and shit, but you didn't know who he was. You didn't see him, you know. But like Bo was accessible. Like,
Right.
you know, you would see him riding around type shit. Like,
And what about Psychoactive? You didn't hear that album at the time?
yeah, I did. Matter of fact, I might have heard I don't know if I heard Psychoactive late. I don't know if I heard it after 24 Deep. Because it was also a lot of tapes going around in the hood too, like that was not, you know, before niggas shit was out, you know. So it was just tapes going around in the hood that people would a dub off a dub, somebody dug to where it was a lot of in the background by the time you got it, but you still listening because it's fire, like, you know. So like, I want to say I heard like some songs off of Psychoactive real early. Like I know for sure that one, like the last one, The Sickness, with where he had like a bunch of people on it.
Yeah.
Young Meek was on it from Meadowview. Bo's brother actually had something to do with that album. I think he like put money into that album. And yeah, so yeah, I did hear X like real early on. But like I said, I think Bo was the one that, you know, because I didn't see X. X was already, you know, booked by the time, like, you know, I really was like, so yeah, it was Bo that really got me.
That was pretty much your
really
biggest
feeling
influence.
like, okay, like this is something I could do, like, you know.
Right.
And even somebody that's really not from my section, I don't know if you heard of Gangsta Dre.
Yeah.
From SAC.
Yeah.
He's from the Gardens. He's from our neighborhood. They started up their own little hood, Lama Verde, which is like the street right after 29th Street. Like, it's really in our hood. It's in 29th Street. But they started up their own shit and they really pressed the line. So like, niggas respected it, you know. And half of them, they had like Lama Verde like Bloods or something, and Lama Verde Gangsters, but they were all fucked with each other. But Gangsta Dre was like another one that I seen, because I was seeing him young. He's like a little older than me, but you know, seeing him, he started real young, and you know, he had his tape come out, you know, I think when I was in 7th grade, and I think he was probably in 9th grade or something, you know. He was
so he was a teenager.
Yeah, he was hella young. Like, even like with his, what I think is probably one of the best albums out of SAC, Inner City Poet. He was only 18 when he wrote that album. Sitting on the edge of the curb, like lyrics like that, like that's like, I think he like one of my like top inspirations too. So
now, your section was full of talented rappers, but your city in general was full of talented rappers.
Yeah,
Even
for
other
real.
sections. Is there rappers from other sections that you gravitated towards?
Yep, Hollow Tip from
Hollow
the
Tip has
north,
some heat.
North Highlands.
Yeah.
He was the first one to actually put, because me and my brother, Lil Devious, my brother, uh, he put my brother on his first album. So like that was our first like, you know, time being on something real big. So like, that was always like a big homie to me, like, and we've been fucking with each other ever since, like rocking.
All right. So at some point in your high school years, you ended up back in San Diego.
Yeah, I came to San Diego like I think 11th grade, like moms, I was getting into all kind of stuff to where Bloods was showing up at my doorstep like literally 30 deep, like, like somebody out here want to catch the fade, like, like. And my pops, he go hard, like, he like, you better go out, like, I couldn't like not go out there,
Right.
with the type
Couldn't
of
turn
dad
it
I
down.
had, like, like you better go out there and whoop one of them niggas ass, like, like. And but by the time, like, I even went out there, niggas was niggas was like kind of backpedaling by the time I got out. We didn't fade or nothing. Like, it was like, oh, you said you was the one that wanted to fade. No, you said you was gonna fade them type shit. But no diss to them or nothing. But we was young, type shit. But it was just, I was getting into a lot of stuff like that. Just a lot of things that was basically scaring my mom type. So she wanted to get me up out of there, not knowing, it's the same thing going on out here.
So they thought moving you back here. Your dad was wait.
Nah,
They both moved
my,
here.
my mom, I wasn't, by this time, my mom and my stepdad, they had separated. I think that had a little to do with it too. They was already separated for like a year, and then I was just getting in more trouble and more trouble, and then we always have family out here. And then my mom's like, we going to San Diego, like, like, and my grades, like, I wasn't going to school, like, like I was just messing up, like, just all bad, like. And she know, like, I'm smart, like, I was just caught up in what was out, my mom
It
had
be
to
like
work.
that
My
sometimes.
mom had to work like 2 jobs to do all these things, and so I'm home alone to do whatever. I'm outside. I'm going outside and doing whatever, And
So you the only child.
yeah, well, I got a sister, and then I got like a brother that's kind of like through my stepdad in a certain way, like, that little devious that came and lived with me. He lived with us for a little while, but for the most part, it was just me. My sister was living with my grandma. Like, she came to live with us sometimes, but it would. But basically, with me and my mom, it's just me and her. So like, I'm her only son. So like, she was taking that serious. Like,
Right.
I can't, I can't keep seeing this. Like, so we move out here, and I was mad. Like, I didn't want to come out here. I'm like, oh, like, what's San Diego? Even though I was coming out here for the summer, but I wasn't going out in the streets or doing that. I
Right.
was just with family and and different areas, like in Sarah Mesa, like like I
Places where there's nothing going
yeah,
on.
places where nothing going on. So it's like, and when you that age, you want to be in the mix, like, so it's like, what am I gonna be doing out there? Like, I didn't want to do that. And then when I got here, a lot of schools wouldn't even accept me. I was trying to go to like a few different schools, like where my cousins was going, but like my grades was so bad, and like whatever was in my transfers and whatever, like they wasn't messing with me. And then Kearney, somehow I started going to Kearney,
Now, did you live close to Kearney? What area did you live in?
I was staying in Sacramento.
All right.
So Kearney was kind of close. I think Kearney might have been most like one of the schools that was in that area. Like I think Terrasana is kind of like out that way too, I believe.
Yeah, Terrasana and Sarah Mesa is like close to each other.
Yeah. So, and but I was trying to go to Mission Bay because that's where a lot of my cousins was going, and somewhere else. Like back then, I didn't really know name. You know, like now I know, but like back then I didn't really know what was what. So it was another school. I don't remember what it was.
And for the people who don't know, Kearney is located in Linda Vista.
Yeah.
Which is a gang area.
Yeah.
So a Crip area in a Hispanic area.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you got to Kearney, what year was that, and what was that like?
Kearney, I got to Kearney around like I don't know. I know Pac was dead already.
97, 98.
So, or was he dead? Or was I there when he died? I think Pac had died when I kind of like a little before I started going to Kearney. I don't know why. I remember, you know, that's just that time. I know Pac was dead already.
I think everybody who was alive at that
Yeah,
time
kinda
remember
know,
exactly
yeah,
what was happening when Pac
they
died.
was around that time. So I know it was after that. So yeah, it was around that time. But like from what I know now, I guess it was a lot of people from the east, like Skyline and all that, getting bused to go there because there was a lot of Bloods there. You know, for it to be in Linda Vista to where you would think it would be, you know, a lot of Crips there. It was a lot of Bloods, but I didn't know that. And I came out here on just into like I was thinking I'm going back to SAC immediately. Like I didn't care. Like I went to school. I wasn't trying to make no friends. I wasn't like I was standing by myself. I was going to PE. I wouldn't suit up in PE. I'm just like I'm sitting on the thing. I'm writing raps like I'm about to go home soon. Like, you know, I'm thinking like, so I wasn't even trying to get adjusted. But then niggas was like kind of started banging on me because like I'm just being me, you know, like, you know, just doing me how I usually would dress, like, you know, blue laces, all the shit. So I don't think they was used to that, you know, or, you know, and seeing somebody, and I was always super little. I was always super short. I mean, I'm not big now or nothing, but like I was hella short though. I was always short. I didn't get a little taller till like later. Like, so like I was always like just a little dude. So like just seeing this little dude just coming in here, just, you know, braids, blue rubber bands in my braids, like just all the way, like, you know. So like it was like big football niggas, like, you know, kind of like.
Right. That's why they went there. They went there to play football.
Yeah, it was yeah, they had like some football things going. So like it was a lot of like, you know, passing, walking to class, and, you know, niggas looking, saying whoop whoop. I got one little mix in PE. I remember one time they made me suit up. Like they made me wear like some, you know, when they have like whatever, like some used clothes or whatever, you know. They used to call them something, I don't remember, but because I didn't buy the PE clothes because I wasn't never suiting up. But the PE, and there was another somebody else, and he was from Skyline, I think, or whatever, and he had said something, and I said something, and he wait, kind of got off on me, like, but he hit me like right here. I kind of got off right back, but the PE teacher was right there, so it was just like quick, real like that. And then and then ever since that though, it was a lot of big niggas, just like always, like just kind of like, you know. And then my mom's was messing with she had a boyfriend who ended up being her husband later, from LA, from Raymond, 102 Raymond, Inglewood. I remember I told Cuz about it. I was just telling him about it, and then he pop up at the school one day after school. He walking up and face. Was it this nigga right here? And
He was up there tripping, huh?
Yeah, he was tripping. I was like, nah, it wasn't even him. It wasn't even. I'm like, I don't even know who. Like, cause it was just a bunch of random, like, and I wasn't trying to get to know people. I wasn't trying to, and it was one person there from North Park, my homie LeBaron LB. He like made me, like, he brought me out, like, he made me like come out of my shell. Like, he was like, nigga, you, what's up, man? Like, so like I kind of was cool with him, and that was like who I was cool with going with there. But there, after that, then I went to Madison. They had a high school diploma program, and then that's in Claremont.
Yeah, but real fast. So when you went to Kearney, there was nobody from Linda Vista Crip there?
Not that I know of.
Damn.
From what I know, it was one Crip that I remember the day that my mom's husband came up there, and he seen, and then he came down, was like, what's up? I want to say he was from East Dago. Like, I didn't really know all the hoods back then, so like I didn't really remember. And I think he was he was like one of the niggas that play football too. So like, but he was like on some like, hey, you good? I got you, like, type shit. And then, but even ever since from there, it wasn't even. I didn't even have no issues or nothing after that. Like, it wasn't nothing. But I still was on just some anti shit. Like, I was just still like not trying to get settled in. But then, like, it took a couple years for me to like finally figure out and just start moving around, fucking with niggas and tapping in, and I started rocking with people from all over doing music. Especially the music is what really got me involved and started meeting new people. And
but what happened at Madison when you got there? I'm quite sure it was pretty much the same thing as far as the dynamics.
Yeah, cause see, Madison, from what I know now, they had people busting in from Lincoln in the South,
Morris and all kind of.
Yeah, so it was a gang of bloods there, but like it was a little more respectful there. It was like I was cool with. It was a couple people from there. Like it was some Skyline niggas from there that went there too. But it was basically all cool. And then
I would think they would be more worried about each other than you.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It wasn't like
because if you got Skyline and Lincoln and Brims at one school, they for sure fighting each other.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, they not really worrying about a Crip that they don't even know, or don't even know what, and then I think by that time word was getting around I was from SAC and I was from Garden, because that took me a lot like people finding out I'm from Garden.
We spoke on that.
That took me a lot of people would gravitate towards me from that, just based on the music scene, and
And this is what I told y'all, Hoodlum Gang, as far as San Diego gravitating towards Northern California, the music scene more so than anywhere else. So I could see them being like, oh, you from Garden Block? Oh, they listen to Sebo, they listen to Lynch, they listening to T Nutty, they Looney Coleon, you know what I mean? Whatever was out at that time.
Yeah. So like yeah, it was more cool then, like, cause I want to say, I think I got into it one time at Madison, but like, see, I wasn't a real student there. I was in a diploma program, but I used to, and we would get out before they would go to lunch. But I would get out and I would stick around,
bullshitting.
Yeah, and hang around at the lunch. So people thought I went there because I would be there every day at the lunch. And I want to say they had 2 lunches. Did they have 2 lunches, or was that? No, they didn't have 2 lunches. That was Valley High. They had 2 lunches. I used to go to both. But Madison, yeah, I would stay for the lunch and then I would go home. So like, that's where like I met everybody. And then I remember, I don't know if you know Swift, rest in peace. He was from Inglewood. When he moved out here, he was a dumb move. He was rapping and stuff, but he was like kind of known. Everybody knew like Swift was, you know, he was a blood from Inglewood. You know, he was a real big. He was hella tall, big, like. And he started going to Madison, and everybody thought like it was about the class, like, you know, that was like the thing, like, oh, they about to, you know, because, you know, they like, he's super cripped out, he's super Damood out or Paru'd out or whatever, you know. I don't remember exactly where he was from, but we ended up being cool because he did music, and, you know, so it wasn't even it never was none of that. So I didn't really have no interactions like that. One time in my early days here, I went to a bonfire, and not knowing what type of bonfire I was at an all skyline bonfire, not knowing, you know, I'm just trying to kick it, you know, and then niggas start rapping, you know, and I start rapping, you know, I'm fresh, you know, hood nigga, you know, all my all this, you know, like, so like once I started rapping, the whole scene get different, you know, like the whole scene just switch up, just change, like it's a whole different thing, like, so I'm like, okay, but nothing cracked off too bad, you know. I got up out of there, we got up out of there, everything was cool, like I got up out of there smooth, like it wasn't nothing like niggas didn't get on me or nothing, but it was just like, okay, you know, I knew like they was like, you know, plotting or something, you know, so it's like I knew
Got
like,
on before they
yeah,
executed their
like,
plan.
I know what I'm starting to get what's going on here, so, you know, this ain't where I'm supposed to be, you know,
Right.
type shit. So then, you know, and I was with my family, from out here, and they don't bang, you know, they Guamanians, you know, because, you know, I'm half Guamanian, so my family out here, they full Guamanian, so, and I mean, I know some Guamanians bang too. But,
Yeah, nah, some of them do.
yeah, but my family, they don't bang. So like, you know, I was just there, you know, so with my family, so I'm like, let's get up out of there because I ain't trying to get them in some, you know. So I'm like, let's.
Now,
you know,
I got a quick question. When they was rapping, before you jumped in, they was rapping. I'm quite sure you heard them banging where they was from in their raps.
I want to say I did.
And you still jumped in there and said what you said.
I want to say I did, but I still did.
He was like, "Fuck it, I'm about to go hard or go home."
Cause like I was just, if I was already gonna rap, I'm gonna rap. Like I'm not gonna rap now because I didn't heard what you said. Like
Right.
you know, like a big thing growing up was like, you know, you never go out. Like, you know, you can't go out. Like, you know, so like if I'm already in the position where I'm supposed to rap, so I'm gonna rap my shit. Like, you know, and whatever happens after that, we gonna figure it out. You know. And, you know, and I got up out of there without, on some sucker shit, without going out or anything, you know, just smoothly, like, okay, I know, like, don't stick around too long because, you know, this ain't the place. All right, let's go.
Now, at this time, was you still going back to Sacramento, like, to visit or see family, or what was going on in Sac at this time?
At that time, at that specific time, or I started going back to Sac, like, probably once, like the full time I went to Kearney, I didn't go back to Sac at all. Like the first year of me out here, I didn't go back to Sac at all. Like my mom was, you know, she was just trying to have us here, like, you know. But then like after I started going to diploma program, and then after I started kind of just like getting on my own, 17, 18, getting on my own, you know, like doing my own shit, I was going back to Sac, you know, here and there. And then that's how I ended up really getting into music real serious, because I ended up linking back.
Yeah, but I was gonna get there, but no, that was the next where I was leading to. But before you get there, did your mom become aware that the gang element was prevalent here too, just like Sac? Was she ever? Did you?
Not. I don't think not as really, because she didn't see what I was seeing.
Right.
like,
especially because where y'all live.
yeah, where we live.
Yeah.
Cause see, in SAC where we live, she seen everything.
Right.
She seen all the homies. All the homies would come to my house. All my big homies, all my my cousins, homies. That was my big homies. They would all come to my house. They would all be at my house because my pops, when I was like in 7th grade, 6th grade, 6th, 7th grade, 8th grade type shit. My big homies, they was in high school, like 11th grade, 12th grade, something like that. Like, and my pops used to, let them smoke weed and drink with them, come to the house and do that. So, they would come, everybody would be at my house.
It was a kicking spot.
Yeah, my house was like the spot. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was always around it. Like, it was always just around it. And, I forgot how we got to this part, but,
No, I was saying, did she ever become aware of the gang scene?
So she didn't really get aware to it until later in life, like when I was getting myself into different little things, and like I remember, she found pistols and threw my pistol in the trash, and I blamed it on my mom's husband, which he did give it to me, but I said it was his, like but and different stuff like that. And I'm not gonna say that. She seen some shit. She seen some shit.
All right, so you said you had started going back to SAC, and that's when you start getting into the rapping.
Yeah, even more like serious, like on like actually next level, like because when I was living in SAC, 6th grade, I was going to school with one of the Norte homies and shit, and his older family. They had a label in the studio, and this is before people just had studios in their houses, so like this is like a real studio, and so then he linked us with them, me and my brother was a group called Deuce Click, and then we actually was about to put out an album back then. We had like almost a whole album done, like really professionally recorded in the studio and everything, like at like 12, and they ended up getting smashed, because they were D-boys, and they ended up getting smashed. So then that went bad, and then years later I ended up moving. Then, but by the time they came home, they got Looney Coleon. They was when Looney changed his name to Looney Coleon. He was with them, IMG. That was the label.
Right.
And the green Looney Coleon Total Recall album.
Yeah.
That was my peoples that put that together and put that out. So when I was going back there, I was linked back with them when they got out. So then they was already working on a solo for my brother Devious. So then like I was going there and just getting on stuff, and then finally I ended up moving out there, just moving back in like 2000. 2000. I ended up.
That was around that Total Recall era.
Yeah, like right after Total Recall came out, like that's when I moved out there. I moved out.
I got 2 quick questions. Now, you say your brother Devious, is that the one that was rapping with T Nutty? Was he rapping with T Nutty or Looney Coleon?
He was rapping with Looney. He was all over the Looney
Coleon.
All
right, I remember that name.
Yeah.
And when you say the Norte homie, isn't there some Garden Block Northaniels? They share a hood with y'all?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. Just for the people who don't know.
Yeah. But we fuck with all the Nortes. Like Nortes and the Crips are like
right.
we got that
like C14
thing.
Yeah.
The C14. Even though the C14, it's not really a real thing no more. It's
right.
not. But naturally we already, since it was like a real thing in the pen, like like for years, naturally like we rock with them. Like they.
Which is crazy. You would think they would rock with the Don Moves
because they
wear red.
They wear red.
Yeah.
Even when I was young, I remember I didn't know the difference when I was young. Like like before, like, I didn't know, like, even at the time when I did the album with them, I didn't really know they was Northes, because they wasn't like super banged out. They was on some D-boy shit, like, you know, more, you know. But when I was young and I was going to school, it was like this mix. It was this mixed nigga that went to school with me, and he used to be flamed up, but he was Mexican and black, you know. But he used to be flamed up, and he used to have like long socks and have the X, what is it? The
X4?
Yeah, the
XIV?
XIV, like in his socks in red, and like, you know. And I used to think he was a, you know, like a blood, like, you know. So it was like, so, you know, I never, it was like, you know, I would look at him funny, you know. It was like that type of shit, but I didn't know back then. And then, you know, because people don't know, back in the days, Gardones, even though they was Northes, they kind of used to wear blue,
Right.
and they had green rags.
Yeah, I actually
you know?
heard that.
Yeah, even though, just because, you know, Garden Block was so, you know, heavy, and we were so much tapped in, like, you know, with
Right.
each other.
Pretty much
know,
they wasn't flamed up in y'all hood,
Yeah.
even though they was North Daniels.
Yeah, and then now later on, like after that, this is early days.
Right.
Like, you know, this is when I was young. Now, you know, they flamed up. They've been flamed up.
Right.
But they still do the green too, and you know, even some homies do green too. Like,
Right.
you know, but yeah, that's with the Northes.
All right, so what year did you come back out here?
I came back out here. See, I was out there from like 2000 to 02. I think I came back here. I moved, like, ever since then. I started moving around. I went out there, then I moved to AZ for a few years. I moved to the Bay for a few years, like in 04, like during the whole hyphen movement. I was living in the Bay at that time, and I came back here, like really back here for like a long time, like in like 06, 07. I was here for like a while, like.
All right, well, the first time I heard you, this might have been around 03, 04. And the first time I heard you on the song was the Blue Chuck song, the Air Force Ones. Yeah.
Blue,
If y'all remember, Nelly had the song the Air Force Ones, and they flipped it.
All blue chucks.
Yeah, go ahead, go sing the hook for him real fast.
I need a blue pair, 'cause I need.
Yeah, that's the first time I think I heard you on the song, and obviously you gave it up for where you was from, and I was already familiar with the Sacramento scene at that time. I was heavily into Lynch and Rated and Bo at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, how did that come about? How did you link up with Seaweed was on that song, right?
Nah, Seaweed wasn't on it. But I was working with Seaweed back then, but it was Baylock was on it.
Wow.
Issei was on it. It was a couple Dago Crips on it, and some SAC Crips. Like, that's how we tried to do some 61916.
Right.
You know, I can't remember who else was on. That was a while. I think my brother Devious was on that song. Looney was on it. iRock was on it.
Who did you meet first? Like, how did you link up with the Dago Crips as far as rapping?
I met iRock and Issei. I met iRock, and then I met Issei, and then I used to record at Issei house a lot, and then that's where I started meeting a lot of the homies, like, that I fuck with out here from the coast. Like, you know, I was 3, Googie, and all them. Like, I was like a whole bunch of, like, that's where I was like really like, they kind of like took me in, like, you know, like knowing, like, I was, from out of town, and
Right.
they was kind of like the ones.
Yeah, because
that
I
showed
heard
me
you
love.
on a few songs back then, and I obviously see. I thought you was living out here at the time, but you said you was living in the Bay and all kind of places.
Yeah, I
but
was
that's how
moving
much
around.
that's how much shit I heard you on back then, to where I thought you lived in Dago at that time.
Yeah, because in Blue Chucks was recorded in SAC. Well, most of it was recorded in SAC, and then some of it got recorded, like the Dago. Everybody from Dago did their part out here, but yeah, I was moving back around during that time. But like, yeah,
Do you got any songs with the legends from your area?
I got songs with everybody. I got songs with Bo. I got songs with Lynch. I got songs with Rated. I got songs with Looney. I got songs with T Nutty.
I mean, I know the answer to this. This for the Hoodlum gang.
Yeah, I got songs with. I don't know who everybody know, like Beliezo, Savsick, G Mac.
I heard all of them.
No Love.
Right.
I mean, they're the homie, all the homies. Like I got songs with everybody. Young homies that's coming up now, Stunner Blue, and like the new homies, Hustle Man, Benjamin. I don't want to forget anybody. King Infant. Some of the young homies that's kind of starting to do their thing right now. It's a few of them. But I got songs like I try to keep, like when the young homies want to rap, like I try to really give them the game and help them out really, a lot, because it's niggas is getting into a whole bunch of shit out there, especially.
Man, hey, SAC is wild, man.
Yeah, especially since all the click shit
Hey,
started.
man, I swear you. Hey, I was going there next. Because you watched the video. You told me I'm gonna check the video out and I'm gonna give you my take on it. Now, before we get into that, let's just go back to my top talented hoods real fast.
Okay.
You saw that video. What did you think about that? And do you have a top 5 talented hoods that you would like to? What's your order if you could think of that? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
But that's what happens here on this channel, man.
I mean,
y'all lucky I don't ask y'all to freestyle.
I mean, you said you hit a lot of them. I would say, damn, who was I was thinking of something.
I know it was people I should have put in there. Yeah, Crestside. I wanted to put them on there. They was close. And Filmo, yeah. In the hillside, E40, the Click, Selly Cell.
Yeah.
People was in my comments about that. But people so slow, they just start saying cities like wasn't about cities. I said a hood.
Yeah.
A hood. This how you know people don't listen.
And then one thing, Nas is from Queensbridge.
Yeah, I got corrected on that.
But Nicki Minaj is from South Jamaica, Queens.
Right.
So like that still puts them.
Nicki Minaj and G Unit. Yeah, that's tough.
That's
but somebody told me there was like Mobb Deep and Nas, Queensbridge. That's tough too.
Yeah, that's tough too.
You know what I mean? So it's so many.
They got
that's a powerhouse.
Yeah, because they even got like a couple of them like Nature that like wasn't like super big, but like if you go out there, they super
right.
Real somebody's out there. But yeah, it's a few. I would have said probably the Crest. I mean, you hit a lot of them. Like
you would have put Garden Black at number 1, huh?
Yeah, I definitely would have put.
Right. I feel you. I respect it because it was hard. It was hard for me. I wanted to because like I said, we grew up on that.
I understand what you even said by like the social media even helped like
And there was another reason that I didn't clear up why I put EBK number 1 because they was actually a group first. Garden Block wasn't a group. Y'all from the same hood, but y'all was all separate. They was actually a group, and then they all went separate,
started doing their own thing,
and they all having success separately. So and they in the social media era.
Yeah.
So I gave it to them for that. But Garden Block, I wrestled with that. I give y'all props, homie. And if y'all not up on the people that we've been mentioning, then y'all need to go get up on it, man. I don't know
Yeah,
what to
for
tell
real.
you. Especially if you in the West Coast music, West Coast underground music.
Definitely.
It don't get no better than that, homie. I'm gonna just be completely honest with you. You know what I
Just
mean?
me, from my personal experience, Garden Block has like went a long way with just me like being out of town and people meeting me and like, oh, you from Garden Block, like, you know, and
Right.
they already want to tap, like they, you know, like they, you know, so I got people all
Right.
being from the Garden got me out of some shit. I remember out here there was this little house like in Linda Vista where all these little bitches used to live in. It was like a big 2-story house. All these bitches used to live in, like, and it was just all kind of niggas through there all around.
They was getting ran through.
Yeah, it was just all kind of, it was just active all through there, and like I used to go to, like, I was on some, like, when I think about it, it was like I would never do this shit. Like I used to go there, sleep on the couch and all kinds of shit.
You was reckless,
like,
careless. Yeah.
And I remember one time one of the bitches in there, she had said something disrespectful to me, and because I think she had like, this is back when everybody didn't have cell phones, you know, like, so like I needed to use the house phone, like, you know, she had a phone in her room, and she had said something disrespectful, and I threw the phone at her, and she like, I'm about to call I'm about to call these niggas, you know, and I'm there, I ain't got no car, I'm there, and I'm like, okay, so like I'm here, so like, okay, we're gonna see what happens. So, you know, like I can't leave now, like I said, I can't go out, like, you know, I did what I did, I gotta see what's going on. So a little bit late, but I do call some homies, I do try to call some homies to pull up, like, you know, a couple of people that I know. Nobody made it like in time, but by the time they came through, one of the niggas pushed through, and he was ready to be on, and then all his homies was like, you Smigg? Oh, you from Garden Block, huh? Oh, what's up with T Nutty? And you know, and they start talking to me.
Oh, they got fanned out.
So then, yeah, so then the main nigga though that really wanted to trip, he couldn't even do what he wanted to do because all his homies was just like
he could have, like, if he really was standing on business.
If he was standing on business,
he wanted to jump you. He didn't want to
yeah,
give you a fade.
Exactly.
He wanted to jump you. Yeah.
They wanted. He wanted to. Yeah. They didn't want to do that. They wanted. Yeah. He wanted.
And they probably was like, this bitch out of pocket. They probably, you know, niggas know how bitches is.
Yeah. Exactly. So like, you know, they was, and then, you know, I ended up just popping in with them for a minute, like, you know, and it was good, like, you know, so like.
Now, I did a video, and it was the difference between NorCal and SoCal, the Crips and Bloods. You watched that video. What's your take on that, and what's your take on the cliques and everything that's going on up that way? We'll speak on the video first. What did you take from that?
A lot on the nose. You hit a lot.
Because you had a few. Most people agreed, but some people, you know, I don't know if they was trolls. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I didn't look at the comments neither, so that's what I don't know. What the only thing I know, there is a few Bay cities that got Crips, but only Crips, like San Jose. I think you said that.
Yeah,
though.
I did.
I think you said San Jose, and then like Seaside.
Yeah.
And Salinas.
Yeah, it's like Monterey Bay. But I know there is like Samoan and Asian Crips and Bloods like in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But as far as black, only San Jose.
Yeah, only San Jose is like really, San Jose is. And but you pretty much hit everything on the nose. I mean, the clique shit, that's something, like you said, like when I was younger, we had like a little clique, like, you know, we had a clique, real ass niggas. That was our little clique when I moved to Valley High, you know, and it had a couple, you know, but niggas wasn't really off from their hoods yet, you know,
and for people who think that there ain't cliques in San Diego or Southern California, we have cliques too, but the cliques be more so when you a kid.
Yeah.
when you haven't figured out the gang banging yet, like,
yeah.
because even when we was banging little cliques, when we was 10, 11 years old, we was still saying our original gang.
Exactly. That's
You had
how,
niggas
that's
like,
how we were.
yeah, like we'll be from
that's
our
how
little clique over here,
RN
because
was.
we got Oak Park out here too.
Yeah.
So
I know.
when we lived in Oak Park, it's like his family from Skyline, his family from Lincoln, his family from West Coast, Naywood, Emerald Hills, whatever. But we banging this little clique, but you still a blood, I'm still a Crip.
Yeah.
That's what we mean by
But
cliques.
you
By
ain't
the time
really
we
pushed the, you ain't
yeah,
really
we
did,
not
you ain't really did really
right. You ain't out here
got dirty
busting on
for
niggas
your,
for that.
yeah,
That's
for,
just like
yeah,
we hang
yeah.
out together. We're gonna fight with each other because we kids and we homies.
Exactly.
Now when you get older, we pick a side.
Yeah.
That what I mean by they cliques is they be grown
They go,
20, 25 years old,
yeah,
and they're knocking niggas down for that clique.
yeah.
That's the difference. That's what people try to
That's what fucks up the city. That,
right.
Like SAC is so, and that's why it's so reckless out there right now, because it's like you don't know like where
the
like,
alliance,
even if
yeah.
somebody is from somewhere, like
because y'all got homies from stars, right?
See, this is we gotta we have a policy like we one block or no block, like you claiming like the hood or no slashing, or we say no slashing, because you know people say I'm from whoop-de-whoop stars, you know, whatever, you know, like I'm from this that you know, we stand by no slash, like, you know.
But
like
do you think if y'all would have implemented that in the first place, that it wouldn't have gotten out of control? It wouldn't have got popular? Because that sounds like, I don't know, but that sounds like something more after the fact. Like, hey man, y'all can't be doing that.
Yeah, it was after the fact.
Yeah.
After, because another thing like about, I would say,
and shout out my boy Nate Dog 916, man, from Del Paso Heights. Just talked to him earlier, man, because we had a conversation about cliques too. You know.
Yeah. So like, yeah, after, yeah, it already had gotten like out of hand. Like, you know, people was already starting to, you know, and then even the cliques was starting to change. Like some cliques was cool with some cliques, and then they started beefing. Like,
right.
If I'm not mistaken, Stars and Fab, Zilla or whatever used to be cool,
right?
Like, you know, I want to say but see, I was already
they was.
Kinda, yeah. I was already out the way. I was already living out here and kind of out the way when that clique shit started getting real, you know, like. And I know the reason. I have a theory about like how Stars kind of came along, because a lot of my big homies' kids are from Stars. Like I got nephews from like Stars or Gutter, you know. They kind of all just run like Gas, Gutter, and Stars.
So let me ask you this: what was in that G Parkway area prior to the Stars and all that becoming about? What was over there in the 90s and all that?
In the 90s, it was G Parkway, and that was a dope spot. That was the Blocc had they.
I'm saying, was everybody still going over there?
It was there, but it wasn't no gang. Then they started G Mob, like for the people who was actually from G Parkway, but most of the people that was in there was from different hoods,
other places.
That was the spot. Like G Parkway is damn near like a neighborhood,
right?
That's a gated neighborhood, and there was a point where they had like a little police station, like kind of like in the front, like, you know, like.
But do you think that that's why that hood was so accepting of people from other hoods claiming it, because it naturally was already a spot that everybody hung at?
It was just a spot that everybody was at, and then, you know, or a lot of people moved there and was selling dope there and living there and was having kids.
Right.
And these kids are growing up playing together.
And it's Crips and Bloods and they're mingling.
Yeah, they daddies is Crips and blood, and they daddies is Bloods, and, you know, and all this, but they hanging around, and they, you know, and then they getting older, and then they clicking up, and they, you know, so.
Do you think that G Parkway, that area played a major part in the unification of South Sac? Because it seemed like the South, I don't know all, but it seemed like the South hoods ain't really as at war with each other. It's more so focused on Oak Park than each other. Do you think G Parkway had
I would say I don't know if exactly G Parkway, but probably that era for sure, and with them and with a lot of our young homies being in G Parkway and rocking with niggas from G Parkway, and because it was always like funk with Oak Park, but it wasn't as like always just like as bad. Like now it's almost like on site with certain people. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like
older,
back in the days, y'all was beefing with Metal View and whoever else y'all was beefing with. But now, so it don't seem like it's that on with them. So now y'all can focus on Oak Park.
It is basically like the South is kind of like, you know, we kind of, it's like a almost alliance, like you know, Iraq, you know, they be saying Iraq and all that, like, you know, Iraq.
That's what I get out of just peeping from the outside looking in.
It is basically like that, like, you know, and at the same time, a lot of us went to school with Meadowview, a lot of people from Meadowview, and you know, so we already kind of grew up together anyway. So then, after all this, you know, so it wasn't really hard to like rock with each other, you know, especially for the younger homies, you know, because they really grew up together and like
and y'all didn't grow up with Oak Park. They go to a different school.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we never like mixed with Oak Park like that. Like the only like.
And then the North, I'm assuming, is too far.
Yeah, the North is like when I was in, like, North is like another city. Like that was like, you gonna wait to the North? Like, you know, that was like especially when I was young, like we riding bikes and all kinds of, like, you know, we not going nowhere near the North, like, you know, so like the North was like it wasn't like no main funk with them like that.
Just if you end up somewhere and run into them, just based on the
just
colors.
On colors.
You go to the mall
like
or something.
You were saying like how the Bay would be more active if they had color wise, just how just based on like you see somebody, if you a Crip, you see somebody flamed up, you already,
because right now, like they might have their beefs based on affiliations and blocks. But imagine, imagine if it was just based on a color. Imagine if
something that shows
something that identifies. Because you might not know where a motherfucker from if you don't know him personally, unless you hear it or something like that. But if you see somebody in a certain color, you gonna know off top he from over there, and it'll intensify shit.
Yeah, I got 100% what you said about that, and that's exactly like that's exactly how it goes. Like,
and the Bay is already as dangerous as it is. So imagine if you added the color scheme, they'd be off the chain. They might be more off the chain than other places.
Yeah, exactly, for real. And that's basically how us with the North is. Like, you know, we didn't really, you know, like have like personal beefs with them because we too far, you know. But like if we out somewhere and you see, you know, somebody got a red rag in their pocket or somebody got a blue rag in their pocket, and you looking and they look, you know, then that could turn into something just off that.
One more thing I wanted to get into, unless you got some more stuff.
I just want to say we don't condone click. We don't condone clicking up my hood, but there is some homies that do kind of like are lightweight. You kind of know they kind of in a click lightweight, you know, but the homies kind of like are trying to push a line, like, you know, like because of something, basically like what you saying, like if something go down, who are you riding with? You know, what side you on? You know, if something go down with us in your clique, who you picking over? You know, so like it gets trickery. But like I got a lot of homies from Stars that I fuck with. Like I rock with a gang, but that's just also being older and you know, I got niggas from everywhere.
Now, recently, there was a big challenge going on in San Diego. Adonis the Hottest, he had a song called "What's Happening."
What's happening?
Yeah, the song seemed to be viral, at least city-wise.
Yeah.
And you got into that. How did you get into the challenge? And yours to me, I haven't seen all of them, but the way you did it and the way it looked like an actual video, then you had your son in it.
Yeah,
Yours stood out the most to me.
That's what I tried to do something different because I basically wasn't like doing it for a challenge. Like, you know, I rock with Adonis and I rock with Notch P, who did the production. He does production for me. I've been knowing him since way back. Like I think he used to live in Terra Santa like way back in the day. It's like, you know, so I've been knowing him for hella long. So like once I seen like the challenge started being like really kind of, you know, it was like starting to be something like, oh, everybody's starting to, you know, it's kind of going like, let me do something since this is my people's. Me and Notch P are already starting to work on an album together that he's producing the same way he just produced that album for Adonis and me. And, you know, I've been messing with Adonis since, you know, he was young, starting to, you know, rap. You know, he was working with Dave Moss a lot, and I did a project with Dave Moss that he produced, and, you know, so I just wanted to, you know, like pop out, you know, and you know, they had a thing where they was saying like, who hasn't done the challenge yet, and, you know, I was getting tagged a lot, and I was like, let me just do something, but I was like, I want to do something different. I don't want to just have my phone rapping on.
Right,
phone.
that's what I'm saying. Yours
together.
definitely stood out to me because it looked like, and not to say other people didn't put time and effort into their challenge, but like you said, you know, people wrote their verse, rapped it off their phone. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yours looked like you was actually promoting like a big single or an album. It looked like it was your single. You know what I mean? Remember them commercials back in the days when they'd be playing a song and they'd be showing like, and they'd be like, yeah, coming soon. That's what yours looked like to me.
Like when you're watching like Rap City or
something like that. Yeah, and they'll show you like, yeah, this coming soon. Be on the lookout for this.
Yeah.
That's what that reminded me of. So I told you in the comments, man, salute. My hats off to you for that, homie. You did your thing, homie. And shit, man. I don't know if you got anything else. I got another interview that I was supposed to knock you. I gotta go get to that too.
I mean, I think we touched on like all like the basics, you know. I think we had a good little combo.
Definitely. And we could double back if we forgot anything.
I was just about to say that we could always link up another time and, you know,
Definitely.
talk about any other kind of topics. Like,
Definitely.
Whatever.
I always tell anybody who come on my channel, man, we left anything out, hit me. We'll double back, man. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, we here. I'm here.
Man, like I said, man, I appreciate you for pulling up, man, and having this conversation with me and putting people up on who you are, your life, and where you came from, and let the people know what you got coming in the future and where they could find you at.
You know, you can find me on Instagram at Smigg Dirtee, SMI 2 G's DIRT 2 E's 2160, Smigg Dirtee 2160. And then I got a little project I'm putting together called Kool-Aids and Seasides, that just like a little like rare songs and like, you know, little stuff. But I'm working on
was that a play on Ice Cube's bootlegs and B-sides?
Yeah. So I'm doing Kool-Aids and Seasides. So, and then I got a real album that I'm working on, and I got a little group EP with my nigga the Gatlin from Creek Mob that we mentioned earlier. My nigga Gatlin from the Creek. We got a project called the Nickel Bag. It's 5 songs, and then I got another EP with my nigga Rebo from Omaha. So that's probably the next few things I'm dropping.
For sure, man. Like I said, man, good looking out. Hoodlum Gang, I appreciate y'all for tuning in to this conversation. It's your boy Hoodie from the Hood, your neighborhood hoodlum.
And that big O-N.
Once again, hey, if the content you watching don't remind you, of the content that you just watched right now,
Yeah.
you need to reevaluate what you watching and who you subscribe to. With that being said, I'm out.